What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at some more I Do Work Here Lady stories. I don't just work here. This happened about a year ago, right after I'd opened 2 niche hobby shops. It's an incredibly male-dominated hobby. My typical clients are retired white dudes driving nice Audis and BMWs. I am a small 30-year-old chick, covered literally head to toe in tattoos, none on my face though. A new to me customer walks in. Apparently he had been in before while I was out of the shop, and one of my male managers helped him. He walks into my shop, and when I smile and greet him with a "Hi, how are you?" he just kind of grunts at me. Okay, whatever, sometimes people just want to be left alone to browse. I stay on my computer, finishing up some ordering, and let him wander a bit. He is taking his time, but is clearly getting a bit agitated. So I ask if he is looking for anything in particular, or if he is just browsing. He just looks at me, a pregnant pause where I begin to wonder if I should speak up. Like I said, old retired 1%ers are my bread and butter. When he finally breaks the silence, not with a polite response, but with a gruff, "Where is your manager?" I've been in retail for 15 years. I'm used to the people who just don't remember their manners. But this question doesn't make me think, oh, he's looking for my boss. It makes me think, oh, he is looking for one of my employees. So I start to ask a couple of qualifying questions. "I'm the only one here today. What can I help you with?" "No, I want to speak to the man that is in charge. I'll wait," he says in a very condescending way. "Sir, I am in charge. What can I help you with?" "No, where is the man that helped me last weekend? He and I were discussing a project and I want to speak with him directly so I can tell him what I want ordered." This is where I start to get a little snippy. Yay, working for yourself. I was frustrated that he was speaking to me in such a tone and that he couldn't seem to understand that I am in charge. "Well, sir, I am in charge here. I do the ordering, so what did you need me to order?" "He lets you do the ordering?" "Sir, I can see we aren't going to get anywhere. If you would like to come back later, you are more than welcome, but considering you won't speak to me and would rather speak to a male employee, maybe it would be best for you to come back at another time." Obviously, this enrages the entitled jerk, and he gets so red that I was sure he would pop at any second. He starts spluttering and he takes a couple steps towards me. I have a particular character flaw where I forget that I am all of 5 feet tall, so I stand my ground. My mother calls it lack of self-preservation. He demands my boss's phone number. Now I realize maybe I wasn't clear enough. No, I am but I get cut off. Now, being ignored and interrupted are 2 of my biggest pet peeves, and this man has accomplished both in a relatively short amount of time. So I hand him a business card and walk off. He immediately calls the number and my cell phone starts ringing, so I answer. So I say, answering the phone, "Thank you for calling. You've reached my name, the owner of this store," all while staring him right in the face. I'm petty as heck, and even this made me wonder if I'd gone too far. He stormed out and I never saw him again. It still cracks me up when I remember his red, veiny face staring at me with wide eyes. Now, one thing is for sure, you definitely did not go too far in this instance. The fact that he thinks that only men can be managers of those sort of stores shows a lot of ignorance on his behalf, and yeah, he needed some karma. The only thing that could have made this story better was if your male manager came out from the back and was all nonchalantly like, "Hey boss." I would have loved to see the reaction on this customer's face if that had happened, but oh well, great story nonetheless. Moving on to our second story, Girls Can't Read Comics. It's a short one, but kind of funny, just the absurdity of it. The customer as much as my over-the-top reaction. It's been a few years, but I still remember quite well as it was unforgettable for me. I recently posted a rather nasty story that happened recently to me, and it felt good to rant about it. This is the only other time in my life that I met a really nasty person. The guy wasn't entitled, so to speak, just really dense and sexist. It was my very first job. I was 15 and I worked in a bookstore specializing in sci-fi, fantasy, manga, and comics. This guy walks in and goes to the comics section. I let him browse for a few minutes, then I ask him if he needed any help. "Can I help you, sir?" "I'm looking for..." He gives me the title and number issue of a Captain America comic from the 1940s or 1950s, I don't remember. "Oh, I think we..." "Could you get the Comics Pro?" Now, this customer was referring to the male employee who was there most of the time. Let's call him Mike. "Pardon? Mike? He's not here today, but I'd be happy to help you." "You wouldn't know what I'm looking for." "Why?" "Well, you're a girl. Girls can't read comics. It's not meant for them. You probably don't even know the difference between Marvel and DC, or even what either of those are. Go back to your Twilight rubbish and get someone who knows comics." As I said in my first story, I tend to blow a fuse very easily and I get snappy real quick. Back then, it was so much worse than now. Sorry being a Marvel fangirl is so offending to you, but I'm the only one here. here. I'll go get that comic, which is, by the way, issue number X, not Y. I stormed off, went to get the comic in the back store and walked back front and handed it over to him. And I was right about the issue number. Don't get so angry about it. I'll get angry if I feel like it. After all, women are nothing but a bunch of overly emotional messes, unfit to do anything but look pretty and serve you dinner, right? My reaction was the proof of the overly emotional thing, but I didn't realize or care in the moment. That's not what I said. Well, had you stopped for 5 seconds to think about what would have come out your mouth, you'd realize it's all the same. Girls can't do this, girls can't do that. It's 2012 for heaven's sake. Get out of the middle age already. Give me one good logical reason why a girl can't read or like comics. That's what I thought. Have a nice day. The guy did come back and he never made a sexist comment to me again, but he pulled the same exact things on other female employees and got told off by all of them. I know my reaction was too intense, but I've gotten better over time and I don't get so angry anymore. But the whole there are things that girls can't or shouldn't do thing still annoys me to no end. Am I the only person that doesn't think this was an overreaction at all? I think your reaction was perfectly justified. I don't know, but people like this, you've kind of got to put them in their place, and if they don't understand at first, yeah, get angry, be my guest. I feel like what would be really interesting is getting guys to take the names of girls and then work and then see what the customer's response is like. Obviously, this is only relating to guys that can actually do it, so you can't see them. For example, support chat or email, something like that. I think it would be super intriguing to see what their customer interacting job would be like, but with a female name. I imagine it would be quite eye-opening and perhaps depressing. Now for our final story, rude lady caused her whole store to no longer get free tea. So for background, I worked at a high-end mall, specifically outrageously priced loose leaf tea. I met the owner of the business through my old basketball coach. She married an aspiring businessman who got rich because of his smart investments. Well, one of these investments was this tea shop. This will be important for later. We sold a variety of best quality loose leaf tea from around the world. Although it was mostly just retail, we also made drinks for about $5 to $8 depending on the sizes of the cup. Part of our marketing is by going to other stores and offering them free tea. Since we had a lot of leftovers from the samples we used that day, towards the end of the day we transferred them in cups and give them out for free to neighboring stores. This gave us more customers and the employees are usually very grateful. Well, except this one rude lady, we'll call her RL. She worked at one of the big stores. She struts in one day and began to complain how her department never got the tea. She rambles on and on about how they always get it every Tuesday. She doesn't understand why it's so hard for us to be consistent. I know you guys always bring us tea, but we didn't get it today? Yeah, those were just a courtesy from the owner. I know, so why didn't you bring us teas today? I don't understand why that's so hard to do. It's just tea. Mom, these teas are actually about $12 per 2 ounces. They're not cheap and we're not allowed to just give them out for free. Well, I know the owner. She always gives me free teas. I want to speak to the manager. You don't know anything. We pay for these teas at the end of the month and I don't see why you're breaking that contract. She was grasping at things at this point. Actually, I am the manager. I know everything that happens with this store. We do not sign those type of contracts. We give out free tea as a courtesy. It's not mandatory. And from now on, I think it's in our best interest to no longer give your store free tea. The rude lady then realized she's ruined it for everyone. You can't do that. I know the owner. My old coach actually was in the back at this time since her daughter usually goes to the classes/events held at Microsoft. She slides the door open and walks out to look the rude lady in the eyes. Finally, a grown-up. Can you tell this kid to stop impersonating a manager and being so rude? But instead, the coach says, actually, that's my store manager and I've never met you in my whole life. I think it's best for you to leave. I later on had to relay what happened to my other co-workers and they couldn't stop laughing. I guess me looking like a teenager doesn't make me look credible to be the manager. That was honestly one of the reasons why we stopped giving tea out for free. People got too demanding. Oh, this just sucks, you know. You're doing such a nice thing by giving out free tea that's not cheap and then someone just throws it back in your face. Not literally, of course. I feel like this post could go in r/choosing beggars, r/entitled parents, and of course r/I I do work here lady all at once. It's just a shame that some people are like this, but it's great to see that your owner stuck up for you. I've read so many stories now where the owner doesn't necessarily do that, so it's great to see. Anyway guys, that is gonna do it for my second episode of r/I do work here lady. You guys seem to absolutely love the first one, so I thought why not focus on this subreddit again. If you haven't seen the first episode, it is on screen right now, so click on the video and I will see you over there in a second. With that being said, I will see you guys later today with another entitled parents video.